Up next to give a lightweight defense of Kyrie Irving following LeBron James and Jaylen Brown, you now have Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, giving a lightweight defense of Kyrie Irving. And the reason why I highlight it as being lightweight, because, they have to tread lightly with how they defend this character. Because, again, they have to make it perfectly clear that what he shared was bigoted, but the man himself isn't bigoted. So, again, it's a very humble approach. Unlike how they, address situations where the NBA players are crapping on law enforcement or crapping on the white man or white people in general. Unlike those situations, when they're approaching this situation, is a very lightweight defense. So let me go over what Adam Silver had to say about the situation. Now, he stated here, quote, "We had a direct and candid conversation. He's someone I've known for a decade, and I've never heard an anti-Semitic word from him or, frankly, hate directed at any group. Whether or not he is anti-Semitic is not relevant to the damage caused by the posting of hateful content." So again, they're highlighting the fact that he did indeed post hateful content. But of course, LeBron James doesn't get condemned for advocating for the CCP shutting down Hong Kong protesters, because, they work with those open bigots over in China. Still do. But anyway, he stated, quote, "I think Amazon has to make decisions as well. My first instinct wasn't that something to me that is so frankly vile and full of hate speech would be contained within Amazon Prime. Again, Showtime. Everything all white. Everything's going to be all white. Promoted on Showtime with a number of notable figures promoting that trash, where they were not just attacking so-called white people, but people who voted a particular way. But again, you didn't have this big giant saga of conversations and sensitivities needing to be had, which are why, again, people who call themselves conservatives are really idiotic to somehow advocate this punishment for Kyrie Irving. Because again, I mean, I understand not liking another one of these BLM NBA athletes and loving every time they get their just due. But at the same time, you have to realize the same people putting out all of this sort of anti-white propaganda, are the same people who are emasculating Kanye West and Kyrie Irving right now. But anyway, it states here, which I highlighted in the previous video, that 200 entertainment figures has signed an open letter for Amazon to remove Hebrews to Negroes. So, Hitler's Mein Kampf can stay on Amazon, but not this Hebrews to Negroes fantasy that's on that platform. But anyway, Silver continued, stating, quote, "I feel that we got to the right outcome here in terms of his suspension. And in retrospect, we may have been able to get there faster. I accept that criticism, but I felt it was important to understand the context in which it was posted to understand what discipline was appropriate, not in any way to excuse it, but to understand what discipline was appropriate." And it states here at the end of the article that the Nets will decide when Irving can return to the team in consultation with the league, Silver said. And so yeah, there you have it. So reason why they're treading lightly here, because they do want to placate the liberal Negroes who support the NBA, in various ways, just in case they may actually boycott something for once. But at the same time, they still want people to be fully aware that you cannot talk about or even share this kind of material, because again, it goes off of the plantation of what they're allowed to spout their mouths about, which is again complaining about white people and complaining about the police. They're allowed to spout their mouths about that, but not other things, which they found one of the other things. And again, people like Kyrie and Kanye, they mistakenly viewed this particular group as, this is just some other white people. But they're finding out that ain't the case, which is why they are both being shut down, or at least having to go through this ritual of remorse. Because again, when Kanye West was talking crap about George Bush and how he don't care about black people, if anything, that helped his career out, because George Bush is viewed as a white man, which means he's okay to have shit talked about him. And the same thing with Kyrie Irvin, when he was supporting the Breonna Taylor, the Ahmaud Arbery, the George Floyd movements, because there are movements that are used to advocate more for soft on crime legislation, which is a thing that these people want to push and promote, the George Soros of the world and others. That was perfectly fine. When he was supporting the WNBA and wearing the I Can't Breathe shirts, again, other agendas that they were fine with him promoting. But when he ventured into this territory, this Black Hebrew Israelite territory, and shared a link to that film, he found out quickly which agendas he isn't allowed to support. And that's why he's going through all of this. And again, this whole situation is just exposing the fact that all of these rich liberal Negroes are owned, because they are employees, not employers. They're not the bosses that they love to claim or love to hear about when they listen to rap music. Because, even those rappers who are singing that nonsense, they aren't bosses either. In fact, they're all owned by the same people. But anyway, I'm sure eventually Kyrie Irving will find his way back in the league, and he'll be far more humble, especially when it comes to talking about who the real Jews are, because that kind of talk isn't permitted by his owners.